freedom rides take place around about 1966. John Lewis is no longer chairman of SNCC in 1966. I think Stokely Carmichael becomes the chairman of SNCC in 1966. But let me tell you what's happening to SNCC, an unfortunate thing. The purposes for which SNCC was organized no longer exist because government has passed the law to achieve the very objectives that justify the organization of SNCC. So SNCC now is searching for its identity. And it's going to all kinds of different avenues to try to find some other justification to continue to exist. You see? And the activity wasn't there. So finally, we have somebody who comes upon the scene named Rap Brown. And his people, they come up with this radical, in my judgment, outrageous ideas. And SNCC had lost his identity, and so Rap Brown just transformed SNCC into an organization that was no longer recognizable by the college students and so forth that helped found it. Bond was no longer a member of it. Stokely Carmichael was no longer a member of it. And John Lewis and so forth. Rap Brown had his people to take the word nonviolent out of the actual name. So now it's known as Student Coordinating Committee. That indicated to the whole world that they accepted violence as a technique. Toward what goal? Nobody knows. But it was at that time, I was in the military. I was in Vietnam, I believe, in 1966. I was coming out of Vietnam. So I kind of missed that side of the revolution anyway. But Stokely Carmichael, when he was the chairman of SNCC, he's the one that coined the phrase Black Power. And that scared all of the segregations. Now, it didn't scare white America. It scared the white segregations, you see, because deep down inside, they had this guilt complex about black people anyway because of the mistreatment that they imposed upon them. They always worried about payback. They were always worried about, if you give these black people too much freedom, they're going to pay us back. And we never worry about that anyway. I'm not angry. I have no anger. And you see, John Lewis is a congressman right now. And Julian Bond, who is the son of an educator, Horace Bond, who was the president, first black president of Lincoln University private college in Chester County, Pennsylvania. You see, so we all come out of a middle class background, and we have no anger. All we wanted to do was demand that we have the opportunity to participate in the bountiful goodness of life that this nation has afforded to everyone.
The last 2 minutes, what would you say to young people today about continuing this legacy of trying to have justice done for African Americans, whether, you know, sit in or whatever? I mean,
first you got to identify what is the injustice. And racism today is very subtle. And it's been furthered by our own conduct. You have to ask yourself the question as black people, what is it that we can do to improve our own ability to operate successfully in the United States of America? Are we studying like we should? Are we spending all our time talking negative things like making our women look like prostitutes and whores in these BET video musical things and so forth? Are we guilty of self-destructive behavior? And then at the same time, we demanding the world to respect us. Well, the respect is something that has to be earned. We knew that. It's not going to be given. So until such time we check our own behavior and not engage in school riots, which I think has been prominent in the newspaper recently, then we can't demand respect. So I'm saying the next civil rights movement that takes place is to change the attitudes and the ways of thinking on the part of black people that leads towards self-destructive behavior.
Very good. And of course, Attorney Blackshear, let me thank you over the last few seconds that we have here for giving us that excellent information. And I'm sure that that is, in a real sense, a direction in which people can tie into to understand that it is a responsibility that as people of your generation, of our generation, took charge and wanted to deal with the injustices, that they too have some injustices to deal with, but first they have to work in their own houses first. Is that what you're saying? And of course, let me thank you, and let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you, and good morning.